Alright, I got a great one for you today. A fragrance featuring beetroot as a note in the fragrance. Very unique, a note that doesn't really come up in fragrances frequently, if at all. In fact, this is probably the first fragrance that I have that features this note. This is Comme des Garcons Rouge, a recent launch, which I'm doing a review for you today, here. And thanks to our wonderful friends over at ZGO Perfumery, which is a store here in San Francisco that sells the most amazing niche fragrances, they're sponsoring one full bottle giveaway for a lucky subscriber of this channel from the USA. So if you're curious to learn all about Comme des Garcons Rouge and have a chance at winning a bottle, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. I'm starting to really fall in love with Comme des Garcons. I discovered Comme des Garcons late in the 90s at one of the stores here that was selling some of their fragrances. In fact, they had some mini bottles of some of their very first fragrances, and I bought one of them and that I enjoyed wearing. But you know, I kind of like put them off and didn't come back to them as frequently as I should have. But now they're actually really getting me really excited with their releases, and I kind of want to focus on them as a brand. It's a clothing designer, and they make some of the most amazing fragrances, I think. In fact, this is so good. I'm so happy to be reviewing it for you guys because I'm obsessed with the way it smells. Very unique notes combined together, the beetroot note with frankincense and so on. It's wonderful. It smells great. So I'll tell you all about Rouge, and also let you know about the giveaway. And I'm going to do some updating on some rules here for giveaways and so on. So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out all this information so that you can participate correctly in my giveaways here on the channel and you know, qualify and of course win them. So before I get to the fragrance though, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I was 2.5 months ago, I was walking back from, actually I went to the post office to drop off some stuff that I was mailing, and I ran into a husband and wife friend of mine there, and we were walking back, socially distant obviously, and they asked me, are you familiar with this new Comme des Garcons fragrance? They're fans of the brand, and they said rose, and I'm like, I didn't know about a rose fragrance, so I looked it up obviously with my iPhone, and I saw that there's no rose. They used to have a rose fragrance, it's discontinued, but I noticed that Rouge was being launched, and of course this is the one that they were referring to. They originally thought it was rose, but it's Rouge. So I looked up the notes at that time and I looked and saw beetroot, and I'm like, wow, beetroot is so unique for a fragrance. I've never smelled anything like that in a fragrance. In fact, it probably has come up somewhere along the way in my journey of fragrance discovery, but never really owned something. So I got really excited about this one, really excited about it, and you know, it does not disappoint. It smells really fantastic and very unique with that beetroot juice or beetroot note. So this is Comme des Garcons Rouge. 100 ml bottle retails for $165. They are sold at ZGO Perfumery. I have a link to their store in the info box. You can buy a bottle there for $165, or they also sell samples. The samples go for $4. The concentration for Rouge is Eau De Parfum. I would call this an Oriental spicy. I can also go to the extent of calling it fruity because it has some fruity touches, and the beetroot juice in there kind of reminds me of some things like berries, red berries. It could also remind me a little bit of something like rhubarb. So it's got a very interesting kind of a smell, but it is vegetal. It definitely has a vegetal quality to it because in the end beets are vegetables, but you know, they're when you have beets that are cooked, they do have a sweet touch to them, you know. So this has notes of pink pepper and ginger at the top. Heart notes feature the beetroot and geranium. Finally, in the base notes is frankincense, patchouli, and labdanum. And Comme des Garcons does great incense fragrances, really great fragrances that feature incense. In fact, they have 5 total fragrances in an incense series, and those are really popular fragrances. So I feel like Comme des Garcons knows incense very well. They've done it. They've done Avignon, they've done Zagorsk, they've done Kyoto, they've done Jaisalmer, and Warzazat. So those 5 different incense fragrances, and I own 4 of them. So I felt like, you know what, this is going to be a great fragrance, and I decided to go ahead and ask ZGO, and we are doing this review obviously today, and I'm not disappointed at all. In fact, what happened was a friend of mine got to sample this, socially distant obviously, and he also fell in love with it, so he immediately ordered a bottle of this fragrance because he loved the way it smells. And I have friends that really do like this line. I mean, this is a great line, and they do the fragrances very well. So with this one, what happens with this one at the top, there's a spiciness immediately when you first spray it. It's the pink pepper spiciness, which has very, very light rosy nuances, and that zingy ginger starts things off with the fragrance. So that's what does it with me with this fragrance. But as I'm smelling the pink pepper and ginger, the beetroot note, which is the most prominent note in here, obviously it's called Rouge, and they're focusing on this red note from the beetroot, is already creeping in. So I think what I'm smelling at the top is the combination of the pink pepper and ginger with whatever is creeping in from the heart notes of the beetroot juice or beetroot note is what they credit here for the heart notes in the fragrance. But when I'm smelling this combination, I do pick up the berry touches. I do pick up the kind of like a rhubarby touches in here. It's a little bit of a tart, it's a little bit of sweet, and a great, great combo. It's fantastic. Such a great, unique smell that I keep wanting to smell more of, because sometimes there are certain smells that you really love, and they're so new to you that you keep wanting to smell it, and that's what happens with this fragrance. It's just something, it's addicting, like you're addicted to that smell, and you keep wanting to smell it and smell and smell. It smells great. It's also a very, very sexy smell too, for some odd reason. In fact, I love to eat beets, and when I'm wearing this fragrance, it's almost like I'm chewing on beets, because when you're chewing on beets, taste and smell are very, very connected. So it kind of goes into that kind of a place for me where I'm smelling it, but it feels like I'm eating it, and vice versa. So the beetroot note is definitely prominent in here. It does creep in, and it dominates the fragrance. But here in the heart notes also, there's a slight mintiness. But we spoke about geranium earlier last week. Geranium has minty qualities, and this is a slightly metallic herbal aromatic side of the fragrance, and which kind of goes into a greenish territory as well. So I feel like mint and beetroots, perfect. They're so great together. In fact, you can actually eat mint and beetroots together. So it's a great, idea to match it with that geranium. It's really geranium, but there's definitely minty qualities with the geranium here featured in this. But you know what? The signature incense or frankincense note that's in the base is what really does the magic for me. The frankincense matched with the beetroots. It's a match made in heaven. Works so well. It's like, where did they think of this stuff? And they did a great job thinking of it. So the frankincense here in the base notes is just a perfect segue from the dominant beetroot that's in the heart in the base notes. So as I said, they just work so well together. And the incense in here is frankincense, obviously. There's a slight smokiness to it, and slightly churchiness. In fact, it doesn't smell like you're in church, but it's kind of like getting there a little bit. Like it's kind of like you're thinking of this like churchy incense smokes. Kind of like the smell is kind of creeping in from perhaps maybe you're living next to a church, and they're doing their church service there, and you can smell this incense. But it's the kind of incense that it's from afar away. For example, you're not inside the church. It's from afar away. You're getting light hints of the smoke. And that's what the incense in here smells like. It's just a light hint of smoke, just the right amount of it in here. Even though I feel like it is one of the more dominant notes along with the beetroot note, the incense or the frankincense, it's dominant in a way that it's just subtle, it's just subtle. It's not like overwhelming incense. It's nothing like the incense series fragrances, because in the end, this is mostly about the beetroot. It's just what this fragrance is all about. That's the star. The beetroot is the main player here. And it's such a magical fragrance. It's so good. Along with some patchouli in here, I mean, you've got to have some patchouli. It's just one of the best notes to put in this fragrance, because it works nicely contrasting with the beetroot's sweet tartness, you know? And then a little bit of labdanum for some ambery touches, and then you have a wonderful fragrance. Now, this is actually an Eau De Parfum fragrance. It doesn't act very heavy. That's one negative about the fragrance. It seems to be a little on the lighter side. That's just one negative for me. But as a smell, it is so good. So good. It's like I said, it's addicting as a smell, and also as a look of the bottle. This red bottle is gorgeous, and it's just, I keep wanting to look at it because it's so beautifully red. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this particular fragrance, Rouge from the house of Comme des Garcons. Let me know your thoughts on this brand, guys. Are you fans of this house? Comme des Garcons is a designer, Japanese into France, I believe. So it's a French name, it's a Japanese designer. And also the fragrances are distributed under Puig. So Puig is a distributor from Spain that distributes these fragrances. But they have some great fragrances. Let me know if you'd like to see more review videos on this house. I'm definitely wanting to dig deeper into this house because every time I smell a fragrance, I'm obsessed with the way it smells. Like the last fragrance I reviewed, full bottle, and one of their more recent fragrances was called Copper. Another fantastic fragrance. That fragrance was a little deeper and richer and a lot more amberier. This just seems a little lighter, but I think that's what they can only give us with this particular note, the beetroot. But as I said, once again, it smells fantastic. So do please get a chance to smell it. If you can go to a store, if you live in the Bay Area, San Francisco, stop into ZGO. And of course, if you can't or are not near a store, order some samples to test them out because I think it's a great fragrance. And another fragrance that keeps wanting me to dig deeper into this house because they got so many great fragrances. Lots of fragrances. Anyway, and now for the giveaway. Thanks to the folks at ZGO Perfumery. They are sponsoring one full bottle giveaway of Rouge. ZGO Perfumery only ships to the USA, so the giveaway is open only to USA subscribers, unfortunately. But if you are from out of the country, you're out of the USA and you have relatives here, you're welcome to participate in the giveaway as long as you can have the package shipped to a relative or a friend here. Here's what I want you to do to participate in the giveaway. So please put down what you liked about this review. Second, please put down what is the most unique or strange note in a fragrance like beetroot here that you have. So if you have a fragrance that features, I don't know, some strange note like parsley, or, you know, I don't know what else to say, grass, or whatever is strange to you, put it down so I can find out. Lastly, please put down your state. Please make sure to be subscribed to my channel as well so that you're qualified and I can see that you're subscribed. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video on Comme des Garcons Rouge. Let me know what you think about this house. Let me know what you think about this fragrance if you've sampled it already. If you have any other questions or comments, please put it down. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.